Hi folks, Bill here from Dallas, Texas. I'm a professional musician and entertainer, and a gadget geek. I'm a longtime user of computer-based music production apps like Pro Tools and Logic Studio, and over the years that's evolved into video production, including 360 videos. You know, friends and family have been bugging me for weeks to live stream a set since my regular Saturday night gig at a local upscale piano bar cigar lounge has been on hiatus. So I started researching what others were using for vlogging and live streaming, and I stumbled across a great YouTube video of a guy who absolutely loves Ecamm Live. So on Sunday night, April 12th, I pulled the trigger for a standard subscription. I spent the next 2 evenings pulling together and setting up all the gear that we would need to put together the best audio and video quality presentation that we could muster up. I only bought 2 pieces of new gear for this project. First, a Sony a6400 as our main camera and a 25-foot high-speed HDMI cable to connect the Sony camera to where the computer and the video capture card is, which is the room right down below my studio. Everything else we already had in-house. Here's what I came up with. Hopefully this diagram will help make some sense out of everything. We'll start with the video setup first. My Mac that runs my music studio software is the brains and the brawn behind the Ecamm production. Scene 1 is my new Sony a6400 connected via HDMI cable with micro HDMI adapter to the Blackmagic Design Intensity Pro 4K capture card. Now, since this is a PCIe card, iMac and laptop users need a Thunderbolt PCIe expansion chassis. I have the Ecamm Thunder 2 box, but there are a couple of other vendors out there as well. The PCIe box connects to the computer via Thunderbolt. Scene 2 is assigned to my GoPro Hero 5, again connected via HDMI cable with micro HDMI adapter to this time a Blackmagic Designs Ultra Studio mini recorder. The mini recorder also connects to the computer via Thunderbolt. Mind you, both devices are Thunderbolt 2 as I've had them for a few years. So you'll need a Thunderbolt 2 to Thunderbolt 3 adapter. Use Apple's adapter or a third party like Ecamm or StarTech. Now, on to the audio. I'm basically using my live performance rig to submix the voices, instruments, and tracks to a stereo feed that ultimately ends up in Ecamm Live. For my submixer, I've got the Behringer X18 digital mixer. I really like this mixer for live gigs for a couple of reasons. First of all, instead of hardware faders, you mix wirelessly using your favorite tablet from anywhere in the room. And also, it's an 18-channel USB audio interface. So first, we get Mike hooked up to the mix with his vocal mic as well as both his guitars. Next, I get my headset vocal mic and sax mic fed into the board. I connect my keyboard in stereo. All of the above are via mic cables or 1/4-inch instrument cables. And of course, my laptop is connected via USB to the mixer, so I can digitally feed stereo audio from iTunes, Band in the Box, and my other music apps into the mixer and be able to balance everything. But how do I get the audio feed into Ecamm Live? Well, in my studio, I have a Mackie Onyx 1220i mixer. Like the Behringer, it's also a multi-track audio interface, but in this case, it connects to a computer via FireWire. Like the Behringer, no special drivers are required. Mac OS recognizes it as a multi-track interface, and it appears in the sound control panel right along with the other system inputs and outputs. All I do is point Ecamm Live to the Onyx 1220i from the Preferences panel, and bingo, we're in business. And lastly, I soon discovered that having my wireless Mac keyboard sitting on top of the Kronos was a recipe for disaster. So I posted a query on the Facebook page for Ecamm Live about alternate ways to remotely do scene changes, and one helpful user turned me on to Stream Deck with the mobile app option. I now use my Galaxy Tab A to run Stream Deck for scene changes, starting and stopping the stream, plus toggling my various lower thirds options. Speaking of lower thirds, that was another fun little side project, to quickly create some okay-looking lower thirds for idents, as well as to display my various virtual tip jar options. So here's a snippet of what our very first Ecamm Live Facebook live session looked and sounded like. And for those of you who are exploring options for your setup, maybe something here sparked your interest or pointed you to a solution. Thanks for watching.